My name is Moh Heng. Most people call me as Dr. Goh. I'm actually the president of BCM Institute or Business Continuity Management Institute. In the corporate world, I'm actually used to serve with the government of Singapore Investment Corporation, and I used to be the global head for business continuity management and crisis management for Standard Chartered Bank. And last but not least is I used to lead the business continuity practice in PriceWaterhouse. Concurrently being the president of Business Continuity Management Institute, I'm also the managing director of GMH Continuity Architect, Asia Pacific Certification Consulting Company. The topic we are going to talk today, title is Crisis Management, Back to Basic. In today's session, the objective is to actually explain to everybody what is crisis management, and in fact, we are going back to Crisis Management 101. The objective is that there's a general confusion between what is business continuity management what is crisis management. So what we are trying to achieve today will be to actually allow the audience to understand exactly what is business continuity management and versus what is crisis management, and we go into the basic of crisis management plan, how to form a crisis management team, and last but not least is what are the characteristics or what are the things that you need to look for when you're developing your crisis management plan. Okay, crisis management is something that is not natural. Most people, when they encounter a crisis, they will actually start to think about it. So the key in this crisis management is actually firstly to plan for it. And in BCM Institute, we have actually a planning process called the the planning methodology, where we start with how to do the project management. Then we go into risk analysis, where we identify the threats or the risks that could affect the organization. We move on to identify the business impact. This is where we identify what is the impact to the business should a threat occur. After that, then we will go into a recovery strategy. We identify how to recover from this disruption to your critical business function. And last but not least is to write the plan. Whether we are doing crisis management, business continuity planning, or disaster recovery planning, this is the place where we will develop the plan. So in today's context, we will develop a business continuity plan for business continuity management, a disaster recovery plan for disaster recovery planning, and last but not least, a crisis management plan for crisis management purpose. All plan, when written, must be tested. And once it's tested and exercised, there's a good chance that in the event of a disaster or crisis, this plan will work. The most important part is after the plan is exercised, there must be a program to ensure that the crisis management and the disaster recovery, all the plans that we have done is actually managed and maintained to ensure that it's current, and there must be continuous management support. So that is basically the whole process that we would like to educate as part of our training curriculum. The most difficult part in managing a crisis is that most people are actually managing this crisis for the first time of their life. Perhaps, I guess the challenge is that the first thing most people will suffer is they do not have a crisis management plan in the first place. If they do not have a plan, there's a good chance that they will be running around trying to figure out how to manage the crisis itself. For those who have a plan, and they have not exercised it. Most of the time, this is not exercised because the management has no time. So what they'll do is, only during a crisis, they'll pull out their plan and then start reading it. Now, a plan without exercising is no use again, because the working relationship between the team is not practiced or rehearsed, and hence they will not be able to work together during the plan itself, during the activation of the crisis management plan. So the last type of plan will be a plan in place and you have at least done a tabletop exercise or simulation. Now even with this, the difficulty is actually the decision-making process, because most people are used to making a decision based on business as usual. In crisis, there's no room for business as usual. Reason is because there's a lot of factors that does not allow you to practice the routine process, and hence there must be good decision making to bypass some of the standard operating procedure to ensure that the problem can be resolved as soon as possible. So hence the most important thing in most crises is you're not prepared, you're not exercised, and there is a lack of a senior person who can, or senior team who can gel together and operate efficiently during a crisis. There's three situations that you'll be in. The first situation is you do not have anything. Hence, the first step is, of course, to start developing your crisis management plan according to the planning methodology that BCM Institute is training you. If you have a plan, then the next stage for those who have a plan is to actually start to start the exercising and rehearsing of the content of a plan with the senior management. For those who have a plan and has already started exercising, the most important thing is to keep the plan current by getting all the key stakeholders to come together and continue to practice. Now, the key in all crisis management plan is this: the plan will not be 100% used, but the chances is that 70% of plan is always activated and can be used. However, the other 30% is where the exception planning comes in, and hence crisis management team is actually designed to manage exception rather than the routine activation of the crisis procedure itself.